Got it.
Hi, I'm Carolyn Mason, and I'm happy to be here to talk about a residency I did at Nocefresca in Sardinia in the fall of last year. And I'm going to share a few pieces of my work. I'm going to talk about the residency as a cultural experience because that was a very important part of it. And then at the end, I will talk about the project that I did at the residency using family lace. So here are a few images of my work. I work in sculpture and I use a lot of fiber. This is my studio, which is at the Bendix building. And here are a few pieces with fiber. This is felted wool with steel. I love working with felted wool and especially combining it with another material. This is also felted wool on wire. And part of this piece is also the shadows. This is called Cocoon. And this is a wall hanging made from moth-eaten sweaters that I collected from people. And it was exhibited at the Torrance Art Museum earlier this year in a show that I also curated. So Sardinia, and here it is. It's the red island in the middle of the Mediterranean. So you can see it's part of Italy, but it's quite a ways from Italy, and it does have its own distinct culture and also textile traditions. And this was a brand new residency. I found out about it on the website resarts.org. And I was attracted to it because of its location, honestly. During COVID, the idea of going to this beautiful Mediterranean island. But when I did a Zoom call with the director, I was really sold. She's a curator, arts administrator. This was her dream. She got government funding, EU funding. So I was in like the first year of this program she started. And there she is. She was showing me some famous Italian or Sardinian like desserts and like fancy coffees. So I was living in a very small town, population 1,300, a rural area that mostly just grows oranges, and that blue circle shows where it is. Not too far from the ocean though. Oops. I skipped ahead accidentally. This is a night view of the little town. I'm standing on top of the City Hall. The town had 3 cafes. You can kind of see 2 of them here that are also bars. And there were 2 bakeries. One did pasta and pastries, and one did bread, and a grocery store, and 1 pizzeria only to go. There's no signage. There's no traffic. There's no noise, no helicopters, really quiet. So it was a really different experience. And here's a helicopter now above me. I don't know if you can hear that. So it was a very different experience for me to not have all that outside noise and be in a different state of creation. This is a video of the kind of home base of the residency. This is where we had all of our meals outside, workshops, and all of our check-ins, and where we would just hang out. And there's like a resident, like just relaxing. And here is another video. This is the view from my studio. And I was right next to the church, and I had a view of the city square. This is the main entrance to the town. So very different from downtown LA, where I currently work. One of the benefits for me of a residency is that all my meals were prepared. Italians don't really eat breakfast, so that was like a cappuccino. But every lunch and dinner I would have at the residency with other people, mostly vegetarian and delicious food. And it was really nice not to have to make time or worry about that aspect of life and really just focus on the cultural experience and my practice. This is where I stayed. It's kind of like a bread and breakfast, and not a, it's actually what I meant is kind of like an Airbnb. And I was sharing it with another resident, but we each had our own bathroom, and it was lovely. This was a special night where one of the residents of the town, who's originally from Naples, did a pizza night for us. So really, we got to meet a lot of people in the town. It's a small town. They were excited to have new people. And that was like a highlight. This is a picnic the town did, and they invited us, and we had to hike in. And these are ancient olive groves, and it was a potluck picnic. And I did study some Italian, and some people do speak English. So there was some communication, but it was nice how they embraced us and included us. We also harvested grapes, and I'd never done that before. It was really fun. Here are two of the other residents with all the grapes. We learned about how wine is made. So these were all activities organized by the residency to show us the life of Sardinia and the culture. The ocean was beautiful. I went swimming maybe 3 times a week. Warm, clear skies, no big waves, the best swimming ever. That was a real treat as well. Native olive groves in the surrounding area. And the residency also organized some workshops for us. And this is a Sardinian weaver and dyer, and he showed us how he works with some of the native Sardinian plants. And these are the plants that we used. And I love this pot that he dyes in. And these are the colors. This is City Hall, and in City Hall was a textile museum, which I think shows how important textiles are to Italians and especially to Sardinians. So much history. This is an old loom, and I love how the petals are kind of shaped like shoes, the way they're pointed. And this is a traditional costume or outfit from the town Milas, where I was staying. Then I went and visited the town of Sariejo, which is up in the mountains in the center of Sardinia. And this is a weaving village. And you can see the pattern on the wall there. And I got to visit a weaving studio. I was amazed. This is a 2-person loom. It's huge, and they weave rugs on it. And here's me playing on a smaller loom. And they have a textile museum also in the town, and I got to see some of the traditional Sardinian weavings. And here is a close-up. And I also got to see some contemporary fiber art at the Textile Museum. I also visited a town called Bosa, where the tradition is lace making. And unfortunately, I forgot my phone when I went. But I did buy a piece of lace, and they have a museum, and they have a lot of women there still making lace in the museum. And so I got to meet the woman who made this. This is a specific style that's specific to Sardinia. And then I got to meet a contemporary artist living in the capital of Sardinia, which is Cagliari, and Francesca, the director of the residency, introduced me to her. And this was very exciting. So this is her lovely studio. And I mean, I love the views from her studio. She collects, among other things, she collects doilies, and she works a lot with themes of history and family history. And then she sifts flour, creating patterns on her body, on her clothing, on the floor. And using flour, she's also alluding to the historical, traditional role of women as the nurturers and bakers. And this, you'll see, this really relates to the work I was doing. So it was very exciting for both of us to meet each other. I couldn't help but include an image of her neighborhood in Cagliari. This is a pedestrian-only street. You can only park a car for like 10 minutes or something like that to unload groceries. So it's just a beautiful, beautiful part of town. And this is another image of Cagliari. And now my project. So during the pandemic, like many of us, I was organizing and sorting through boxes, and I have a lot of family lace that's been passed down that no one really wants anymore. And a lot of it is yellowed or stained in any way. So I decided to bring this lace with me to Sardinia, knowing about how family ties are so important in that culture and textiles. And so I played around and experimented with the lace. I cut it up. So for example, this is me in my christening dress that no one in the family wanted. I actually cut up the lace and the borders, and among other lace. And then I've been using it in sculptures. This is a study. And this is another study. And I've mixed in some black lace as a contrast. So the black lace is new, all of the white lace is old family lace. And I also brought my mother's wedding veil, which was originally made in Italy. It's handmade in silk. It's gorgeous. And it was a family heirloom. It was her great-grandmother or her grandmother's. So I couldn't cut that up. And it's in pristine condition because it's barely been used. So it seems sad to just have it sitting in a box. And I experimented with that by creating shadows on my body, kind of mapping my body with my mother's wedding veil, being in the shadow of my mother's veil. And I was thinking about claiming this beautiful object for myself without using it in marriage, and showing the beauty of the veil and acknowledging the shadows that family history can place upon us. And then I did more images here in LA with a professional photographer, which will give me the option to print these larger. And I'm currently working on video that I also did here in LA. I'm currently learning to edit video and create some videos. This is one of my favorite images because with the wind, you can see it's distorting my body with the ripples. And that was another beautiful part of the project, is I'm collaborating with the sun and the wind. So the images change depending on clouds and how strong the wind is. This is my face through the veil. And my hands are, my hands are in between two layers of the veil here. So I was reconstructing my female lineage in a way and claiming it. So it's been a very rewarding project and very personal. All right, I wanted to share some resources. This is the website where I found out about the residency, and then I have the Instagram and websites for Nocefresca, which, by the way, means literally means fresh nut, but they use it to refer to like walnuts and chestnuts. And I have the Instagram of Isabella Franja, who is a master weaver, and she's the one whose studio I visited with the really large loom in Sarajevo. And the Textile Museum of Sardinia is, that's the website, murats.it, for anyone who goes to Sardinia, which I would highly recommend. And here's my information. So please stay in touch, and thank you so much.